Welcome to the 5 for 2 podcast with me, your host Adele, where we say no to careers where you're trading 5 days of misery for 2 days of fun. A place we discuss all things career, confidence, and money moves. I want to motivate, teach, and empower ambitious women to achieve more, earn more, feel more confident, and enjoy the work they do. It's all about believing you can have everything you want in your career and then going and getting it. So if you're ready, let's get into it.
Hey, welcome to another episode. And on this week's episode, this is one that so many of you have been asking me questions about, so I had to turn it into a podcast. How I negotiated full-time money to work part-time hours. People pay for what they want. So anyone listening to this who's saying, just because you did it, it's not possible. Listen, I've got clients who have done the same. I've got clients who didn't necessarily do what I did and negotiate in their current job, but what they did do was they started going for part-time roles, but still asking for their old full-time salary. There are people currently earning 30 or 40K a year to work 5 days a week. And there are some of us who are earning 30 and 40K a year to work 2 or 3 days a week. I want you to think about that for a second, because there are always options. If you can't get it where you are, you can go somewhere else, because we've stopped selling time. And if that doesn't sound familiar to you, I'm going to need you to go back a few episodes where I talk about stop selling time. We're not doing that anymore. It's 2024. We don't sell time. We sell value. We sell our skills. And if you're selling value, getting 30K to work 3 days a week shouldn't be an issue, because you're worth it and you know how to sell your value. Honestly, if you haven't listened to that episode, I need you to go back, because we're not selling time no more. And I'm not going to get into that on this episode, but I'm going to touch on some of the same concepts or similar concepts, not the same concept. And I'm also going to talk about how specifically I did it. The first time I negotiated part-time hours for full-time money was in 2019. Since then, I've gone on to do part-time roles and be earning the money I used to make on a full-time basis. But there are two different ways that I did it. So we're going to start off by talking about way back when, in 2019, when I had been in my job for a minute and I had been working and growing and moving up and doing all the things that I talked to you guys about doing. And I was like, where else can I go? And on my vision board back in 2017, I wrote that I wanted to be able to work from anywhere, and I wanted to not have to work full time, but I still wanted to maintain the lifestyle I had. I still wanted to travel 5 times a year. I still wanted to be able to eat out and take care of my daughter and take care of my mum and take care of myself. There were so many things I still wanted to be able to do, but I only wanted to work 3 days a week. And I wrote it down. I had no idea how it was going to happen. None whatsoever, but I knew that's what I wanted. I didn't know that would eventually turn into me negotiating less days, but keeping my salary. And it started off with me saying to my boss, can I work 4 days a week and keep my same money? I'm not going to necessarily ask you for a pay rise this year, but I'm definitely asking you next year. And that's really how the conversation went. And to be honest, I asked for that pay rise less than a year later, but that's another story. I said, can we talk about me working 4 days a week? Not 4 days a week and losing my money, because I'm keeping my money. Because in those 4 days, I'm still going to give you everything I've been giving you over 5 days. A lot of the work we do during the day at work is filler work. Let's be real. How many of you are scrolling on Instagram right now? How many of you listen to this podcast when your lunchtime finished ages ago and actually you should be at your desk on a meeting, but you've got headphones in and you're listening to my podcast? Listen, let's be real. A lot of the day is filler. There are hours, if we add up all the hours in the day where we're texting our friends, looking on Instagram, looking for other jobs on LinkedIn, let's be real. If you add up all the time during the week, that's at least a day. That's a day's worth of work that doesn't get done every week, but you get paid for it, which is also good because you're getting paid to do nothing. However, I digress. I was thinking about all the filler that I did, all the stuff I did that actually, I don't need to be in this building to do this nonsense. I could be at home scrolling on Instagram. That extra day, you don't need me here. You want me here because that's the norm, 5 days a week. But if I show you that I can do my same job in 4 days, the team will still grow. Your revenue will still grow, because let's be real, companies care about profit. If I can continue to grow the revenue from how I've grown it already, even more on 4 days, will you let me continue to work 4 days and keep my salary? My boss was very hesitant, but also receptive. Why? Because one thing I've learned to be in my job is hard to replace. And that's where we're going to start on this episode. Are you hard to replace? No employee is irreplaceable. Let's be clear on that. But I'm talking about becoming hard to replace. And if you're not sure about how you become hard to replace, I want you to go back and listen to episode 34. I'm sure it's 34, where I talk about becoming hard to replace. It's an important skill. It's an important skill if you want to start getting paid more money. It's an important skill if you want to have more power in negotiating. It is an amazing skill to have. So I want you to go back and listen to one of my old episodes. But anyway, like I was saying, no employee is irreplaceable, but you can make it hard for them to replace you. How? You need to know your company inside out. That's first and foremost. And then you need to know your boss inside out. What does your boss care about the most? What does your boss need from their team? What does your boss need from you to make his or her life easier? Listen, me understanding what my boss needs, what makes my boss happy, that's the key. Because some of you are going to work and you're just phoning it in. You can't be bothered. You just show up, you do the bare minimum. Now listen, if you do the bare minimum, you're happy with that, keep doing that. But if you do the bare minimum and expect the maximum in return, that's why you're stuck. That's why you feel frustrated. That's why you feel underpaid. These people have annoyed you to the point where you're like, I'm not doing anything else. Instead of being strategic, I'm never telling you to overwork or burn yourself out, but I'm letting you know that the stuff I do at work, I do more of what my boss cares about and less of what's written on my job description. Your job description is a wish list of all the things they want one person to do. That's great. I'm looking at that wish list and saying, what do they care about the most? They're the things I'm going to do most. I'm not saying I won't do the other bits, but the other bits might be the bits that I do a bit less of, or I phone it in, or there are weeks I don't even do them. Because I'm strategic. What does my company care about and what does my boss care about? What makes my boss's life easier? They're the things I'm focusing on. When you know your boss inside out, it makes it easier. Do the things that make them happy. What makes them happy is usually things that make them look good, grow profits, make the team stand out. They're the things I'm doing. Oh, what do you need done? Yeah, I can get that done for you. Because guess what? When I get that done, and maybe I didn't do something that's on my job description, and my boss says to me, Adele, you still need to do X, Y, Z. I'm like, I'm really sorry. I'll get that done for you shortly. They're like, no, it's not a big deal. You know why it's not a big deal when it comes to me? Because I'm doing all the things they actually care about. So the little things, the little fiddly things that I might miss or I haven't done, I get a little extra time. And other people on the team or teams that I've been on in the past might look at that and be like, that's favoritism. No. It's called strategy. I've just figured out how to maneuver in this corporate world. And I'm not telling anyone listening to this to bend over backwards. If it's not in alignment with who you are, and if it's not what you want to do, don't do it. I'm telling you what I do. Because I'm not about to be stressed out every day, 30, 40 hours a week, 20 hours a week, whatever it is I'm working. I'm not about to be stressed out. I'm about to figure out what this company needs and how I can give it to them. Because a lot of you will do all the things, working your butts off, working hard as hell. And then you're complaining and upset because you're not getting what you should in return. You deserve way more. But the difference is you don't need to do everything to get more. You can do less, but have more impact. So get to know your boss. What does your boss need? What does your boss like? What does your boss praise? What actually does your boss and your company care about the most? Not what they're saying. Pay attention, watch, learn. Are you delivering against and above targets? If you're in a role that is target driven, that has KPIs, how are yours looking? A lot of people will be doing, like I said, the bare minimum and then be confused when they can't negotiate more money or part-time hours for more money. You're doing the bare minimum. Your KPIs show it. Your targets show it. You're not even hitting target. Again, do the things your boss cares about. If you're always above target, the little things, they kind of let it go. The next one is a big one. Go to your boss with solutions, not problems. A lot of you want problems, not peace. A lot of you will go to your boss complaining about the systems, about the processes, about the clients, about all the things that aren't working, rather than having a solution for that problem. I am not going to tell you that I will not moan. I will be the first one to complain when tech isn't working, when the processes are nonsense. I will complain loudly, but I will also come with a solution. Listen, I'm coming to my boss and I'm saying, listen, this is a problem. This doesn't work. This is not fit for purpose. I researched XYZ and we could try this. I spoke to people on this team, on that team. I've even spoken to tech and they could put something together which would help us in the short term, but would actually cost us nothing. I'd done had the solution before I showed up in your office. I'd done had the solution before I wrote the email. I'd done had the solution before I started bitching and moaning about the thing, because I'm going to moan. I'm not telling you I'm not going to moan, but I'm going to tell you, I need to fix it. Problem solving, I feel like, is in my blood. Maybe because I'm an only child. I'm a child of a Jamaican immigrant. I'm a child of a single mom. I am a single mom. These things have created a problem solver in me because I haven't had anyone else to lean on, to help me, to support me, to back me up. I didn't have siblings like in the house. I have siblings. You guys know I've spoken about my siblings before, but them on my dad's side. So I didn't grow up with siblings in the house. I grew up as an only child. I didn't have anyone to go to when there was a problem. When my mum was the problem, I can't then go to my mum. I have to go and sit down in my room and figure out how I'm gonna get out of this. I didn't have no one to collude with and be like, oh, okay, what could we say? What could we do? No, I had to do that on my own. The only time I got that little energy was when my cousins were around, and that was really rare after a certain age. So what I want you to know is problem solving might be in my blood, but you can become a problem solver. I've worked with so many clients who didn't even think they were good at problem solving, who when I asked them like, oh, well, when this happened at work, what could you have done? They give me the answer. Sometimes you dislike your job so much, or sometimes you don't want to be there because you want to do something else. It's not even that you dislike your job. Maybe you want to start a business, or maybe you want to do something else. And a lot of my clients, can I say, the reason they want to work part-time and still earn full-time money is because they have side hustles, is because they have businesses that they're trying to grow, but they still need to be able to pay the bills while they grow that business, but they also need a bit of time to help them grow that business. So a lot of clients come to me for that reason. But when you're someone who can solve problems, you are looked at more favorably, because you're not the person where your boss is like, oh my gosh, he or she is always complaining. You're the person who's like, yeah, even if they complain a little bit, they always come up with some good ideas, you know? They've always done their research. You don't even have to be good at problem solving yourself. You can go and ask people in other departments. You can do research online. That's a part of problem solving. You yourself don't have to always come up with the solution. I don't always come up with every solution I come up with, but I start thinking about who in my network could help with this. Who could I ask questions to? Who I've worked with in the past who might have some insight on this? Where can I find information? Because this thing is frustrating me. Because let's be real, the reason your boss is the boss is that's how they got there. They became good at problem solving. Bosses don't know everything. Like, I've been the operations director, I've been the manager. People come to me with all their problems and they're like, oh, Del, you're so good. No. You could have been doing the same thing I'm doing, because I'm going to go away and have to research. I've Googled just like everyone else. Difference was I took the time to go and do it, because I know that makes me an asset. Being hard to replace means you're an asset. Being hard to replace doesn't mean you do all your job description, do everyone else's job, run around like a headless chicken. It doesn't mean that. But it does mean if other people are falling short in the team and I see a gap and I think to myself, well, I could get that done because I've got the time, I've got the space, and I've got the capacity, I will get it done. Because now my boss is looking at me differently, like, oh, what would I do without Adele in the building? That's what you want to hear. That is being hard to replace. That is being the person that your boss looks at as an asset. If you are someone where your boss has stolen your ideas, I'm going to be really clear with this. Stealing your ideas is not okay. Taking credit for your work is not okay, but it also means you're an asset. Sometimes you have to find the silver lining. If someone is stealing your work, when I'm posting on social media and people are stealing my ideas and concepts, or people are trying to rewrite my post and you're not getting the same traction, you're not getting the same results, is because I cannot be imitated. You can mimic me, you can try and imitate me, but you're never going to get the same delivery, because this is who I am at my core. So even when your boss is lying and imitating you and stealing your stuff and showing off your stuff, that is proof that you are an asset. I've had a boss that's done that to me before. And guess what I said to them? You're going to have to start paying me. You will have to start paying me for stealing my ideas. Otherwise, I'm going to prove that they were my ideas and make you look bad. And I don't say it like that, guys. I want you to be clear. This is my podcast. I'm delivering it to you straight and unfiltered. But I will have a professional conversation where I will say, oh, I felt a little bit uncomfortable that I felt like you took credit for my work. And I know you're the boss and you lead the team, and sometimes your name needs to be on things. But I have so many ideas to support this team. And if those ideas are going to be presented to senior management and they're going to go on to become implemented within the business, then I'm expected to be paid more. Yes, I'm wrapping it up in a little bow. But what it basically says, if you're going to take the piss out of me, I'm going to take the piss out of you. You are going to pay me every penny I deserve for every idea that you have used within this company that did not belong to you. Because guess what? I can keep coming up with ideas. If I stop, you're now going to look bad because they're going to be like, well, you had this great idea. Where's the rest? So if you want to keep using me, you're going to have to pay me. And some of you like to say, nah, but I want recognition for my work. At this stage in my life, yes, there's a lot of work I do that I want recognition for. But there's a lot of work I could care less. I could care less if I get recognition as long as I'm getting paid. Because I'm trying to live life right now. I'm trying to be outside as often as possible. I'm trying to hang out with my daughter as often as possible. I'm trying to fly out as often as possible. So as long as you're paying me enough to do those things, take the ideas, take them. It's okay with me. You can have those ideas. There is plenty more where they came from. But please stop thinking just, oh, my boss is awful, and start thinking, if my boss is actually stealing my ideas, I'm great. I'm amazing. And I can use this to my advantage. You are automatically an asset if people need to steal your stuff and steal your ideas. You are automatically top tier. You are elite. If no one's told you that today, I just told you. One thing I want you to know as well is when you're someone who comes up with solutions instead of problems, and you are not always just complaining, you're turning those complaints into a solution, everything will change for you. Solutions that help them identify process problems or gaps in service, especially things that will save them money or make them money at your company, are things that they care about the most. The things that you complain about the most every day in your job could be the things that help you get part-time hours with full-time money. I'm going to say that again. The things you are complaining about every single day at work could be an opportunity for you to find a solution which will end up helping you to negotiate full-time money for part-time hours. When you're hard to replace or you're really liked, it's so much easier to negotiate the things that you want. And if the thing that you want is less hours without losing your money, they're the things you need to think about. And for everyone listening who's saying, okay, but what about when it's in another job? What about when it's in an interview? Like, I've not had the job before, but I still want to negotiate. You can, but it's different because they don't know that you're an asset. You have to be exceptional. I'm talking sensational at interviews if you want to be able to negotiate more things at interview, after your interview. If you want to get the offer and then be able to negotiate 4 days a week, for instance, because that's a start. If you're on 5 days and you want to get to 2 or 3, start with 4, because if you can negotiate 4, eventually you'll be able to negotiate 3. And if you can negotiate 3, eventually you'll be able to negotiate 2. But you need to be, like I said, exceptional at interviews. You need to know how to show that you're an asset. Storytelling is your best friend. I have so many podcast episodes on interviewing, so I'm not even going to get into it too much. But if you get great at interviews, go back and listen to old episodes. Then negotiating what you want becomes a lot easier. If your LinkedIn is up to date and it's got referrals and recommendations, and they can go on your LinkedIn and read that and they're like, oh, this person looks like an asset, we might want them on our team. If you're getting headhunted, companies are reaching out to you and saying, we want to interview you because you look amazing. You're already halfway there. Start the negotiation process. Say to them, yeah, this is perfect. This is what I'm looking for. However, I'm only looking for 4 days a week. Start as you mean to go on, but make sure they want you. You cannot do these things if you're not wanted. You cannot go in and negotiate these things if you're not an asset. You cannot go in if you do not add value to the team and you know how to communicate it. You have to be able to do those things to be able to get the things you want. Also, remember, your other option is to look for part-time roles that just pay more. Like, let's keep it really simple. You guys know I like simple, I like easy. If I see a 3-day-a-week job and it's paying 30k, there you go. You're already halfway there. If you see a 3-day-a-week job and it's saying up to 40k, make sure you go for that 40k. You're negotiating the top end of the salary. You're now earning what a lot of people earn full time, 5 days a week. You're now earning that to work 3 days. I want you to really think about that. We don't sell time anymore. We sell skills and value. What you contribute to your company is valuable. Sell that. Stop selling like, oh, I'll be in the building 40 hours a week, so that's why I should get this much money. There's literally people with half your skill set, people with half your credentials, earning double the money, walking into jobs that you could walk into just simply because they had the confidence and the self-belief in themselves, simply because they asked. Because a lot of you aren't even asking. A lot of you are assets and you haven't even started to ask the question, is it possible? I've seen so many people under my posts or making comments where they've been like, oh, you can't do that, it's not possible. Unless you have a crystal ball or unless you've tried, I don't understand what you're saying. I've done it. My clients are doing it. I personally didn't think certain things were possible. And it's not even that I didn't think they were possible. I hadn't even thought of them. I hadn't even thought that earning full-time money on part-time hours could be a thing. Until, like I said, I put it on my vision board and I wrote it down on one of my goals. And then 2 years later, my brain started to get to work and my brain said, how am I going to get to this 3 days a week but not lose money? When you decide you want something, the answers will come to you, whether they take a year, 2 years, whether they take a month, 2 months, it don't matter. The answers will come to you once you believe it can happen. I just decided that I want to be able to retire from full-time 9 to 5. That's literally what I wrote down. I was like, I want to retire from full-time 9 to 5 and only work 3 days a week. I didn't know that was a thing or it could be possible. People laughed at me. Some of my friends were like, you're so extra, you're so over the top. Now my friends are like, okay, wait, how? I don't get it. How did you do it, Adele? You've been saying you wanted to retire from 5 days a week. Yep. And now we're here. So this is what I want you guys to really think about. And realistically, even though I said I retired from full-time 9 to 5, I didn't really retire from work because I'm still working. I'm still got my business. I'm still coaching on a daily basis. Like I still am working. I'm just not working for someone else 5 days a week. What I want you to know is when you go for your next interview, I want you to be able to confirm your value add. Have all your evidence together and make sure you're ready to talk about your interview. And if you're in a current job and you're trying to do it, confirm your value add. You should have a list as long as my arm, as long as my legs. I'm 5'8.5". I'm a tall lady. Not too tall, but I'm a tall girl. Your list should be as long as my legs on all the things you've done in your current job that have added value, that have made them money, that have saved them money, that have made your boss look good, that have built the brand, that have improved the processes, that have pushed the team forward, that have motivated other people. Like the list goes on and on and on. Your list should go on and on and on. Sometimes when you have your list together, and if you're an introvert like me, I never always am good at articulating what I want in a pressured situation. I will get my words out. And no one ever really knows that I'm scared or shy or anything in that moment because I come across very confident. But even when underneath the surface, I've got all these nerves, guess what? I send an email first. I send an email saying to you, this is why I want to talk to you about a pay rise. This is why I think I deserve it. And I've laid it out beautifully with all the things I've done, all the value adds. And then I say, can we have a meeting? Or vice versa, I have the meeting and then I follow it up on an email and say, like, I know you're going through assessing whether or not you're going to be able to give me the pay rise. Again, I just wanted to reiterate, this is all the things why I believe I should get a pay rise. And these are the things I'm committed to continue to deliver. That's another one that people miss. We tell them what we've done before, but we forget to tell them what we're willing to continue to do. So I'm basically telling you, if you don't give me this pay rise, I don't know if I'm going to still be able to give you all the things that I've been giving you without saying it like that. Corporate speak is a really interesting thing. You can say one thing and mean another. Because I'm saying to you, I've done all this for you and I'm willing to do this. I am committed to doing X, Y, Z. And X, Y, Z should be the things that they want you to do. And if you're not sure of what a company wants, again, like I said, you need to get to know your company. But if you're at an interview, of course, you might not 100% know what a company wants. Ask. You know, you get that portion of the interview where you can ask questions. Or sometimes you can ask questions throughout the interview. It depends on how relaxed the interview is or how the style of the interview is. Ask them. Say to them, what are the gaps on your current team that you're looking to fill? What is the gap in skill set that you are looking to fill? What are your expectations for someone the candidate who's successful in this role? What are your expectations for them in the first 3 months? What do you wish your team could achieve over the next 12 months? Now that you have the answers to those, use them to your advantage in that interview. When they answer, you say, oh my gosh, there was a time when I helped my company do that through, and then tell a story about the time when you helped the company do something that they just spoke about. When you get the answers, use the answers to your advantage. I always say to all my clients, the job description is what they want. You need to tell them why you're the solution to the job description. And if you're not sure about what's the most important part of that job description, just look at a job advert. The job advert is a summary of the things they care about the most. The things they care about the most are in the job summary, like in the advert. Because the job description is a big wish list. The job advert is what they actually care about, because they want to make sure they capture the most important parts of the role in the job advert. They can't put the whole job description in the job advert. So they capture the most important key areas. Hit those key areas. Watch how it makes your interview life so much easier. Always confirm your value add. And on the flip side, always confirm your continued value add. What else will you commit to doing? Always commit to future outcomes that they care about. In your current job, you should know what that is. In a job that you're applying to or you're interviewing for, it's either in the job advert or you ask the questions at interview and then answer those questions. If I ask someone, what do you expect from the successful candidate to deliver in the first 3 months? And they tell me, I'm going to tell them how I've delivered that in my old job and how I would do it in their job. I'm going to literally say, oh, well, if I was working on your team, this is what I would do to give you that. Oh, the bells and everything are singing, because now they heard the harmonies, they heard the beauty. They're like, oh my gosh, breath of fresh air, we need to hire this person. And now I've positioned myself as an asset. And guess what? Now that I'm an asset and I get the offer, now I'm going to negotiate little things that I want. And last but not least, offer a trial. In any situation, offer a trial and let them know if it doesn't work, you'll be happy to go back to the original pattern or happy to do what all their other team members do. When I first negotiated the 4 days a week, I said, if it doesn't work, I'll go back to working 5 days. Listen, I made sure that it worked. I delivered more working 4 days a week than I had doing 5 days. Why? Because I was not going back. I made a conscious decision. 4 days a week was my new norm. I weren't giving it up. But I made sure I told them I was willing to give it up if need be. And the truth is, if I failed and I was like, 4 days is not working, I'm miserable at trying to get everything done in 4 days, then I would have really gone back to 5 days. I think. I might have left and tried to get 4 days somewhere else. No, for real. I would have gone back, because the thing is, I like to undersell and over deliver. I'm really good at selling myself, but I often undersell what I do. Like, I've had clients come to me and say, like, oh, I didn't know all this extra stuff came with your one-on-one. I didn't know that Create Your Own Lane included all this other stuff. It included your course. It included the masterclasses. It included all the Voxers. But I didn't realize how much it included. That people say to me, I didn't realize your one-off sessions also included like 2 weeks Voxer support. Like, I didn't realize the fact, because I will undersell something, but over-deliver. And even when I'm underselling, compared to a lot of people, they will be like, no, you oversell, Adele. And I'll be like, oh, okay, cool. But I think I undersell versus what I deliver. But if I wasn't able to deliver everything I said I would over 4 days, I would have gone back to the 5. And you have to be willing to assess yourself and evaluate yourself. Not everyone can get it done in 3 or 4 days. And that's when I say to you, look for jobs that actually only want someone to work 3 days and then negotiate the highest end of the salary. You could end up being on, let's say, I don't know, 35K. And maybe currently you're on 40K for 5 days, but now you're on 35K for 3 days. You're winning. I promise you, you're winning. Those other 2 days, you can figure out your business or whatever else you want to do. And if you don't feel like you're winning, then keep looking for a 3-day-a-week job that pays the same 40K that you was just on. They exist. They're out there. Sometimes it's about taking the time. You already have a job. I'm not talking about the times when you are desperate and you just need to go to work. I'm talking about you already have a job. It's already paying the bills. It's already doing everything it needs to do. So now you have the time and space to look for something better. If that takes 2 months, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months, who cares? You have a job. If it takes you 5 months to find a perfect role, it takes you 5 months, because you're going to be happy a year from now when you're in that perfect job, doing the things that you want to do, working 3 days a week, earning 40K. I don't know what else to tell you. But that's it. That's how I personally negotiated full-time money to work part-time hours. And I've done both. I've done it in an existing job, and then I did it at a job which was part-time where I asked for more money so that I could be on a certain salary. So I could be earning what some people would class as full-time money. Some people wouldn't. Some people would be like, nah, that's part-time money because they own way bigger salaries. But a lot of people would be like, wow, you earn my salary just working part-time. There is always more than one route to anything you want. I hope this episode has been helpful for all the people that have been asking me on my Instagram and on my LinkedIn. This is how I did it the first time, and I've done it since. But negotiating full-time money for part-time hours is not a myth. It's not a unicorn thing. It is something that happens all the time. We just might not have been exposed to it. Once I did it, I started talking to other people who have been doing it. I didn't even know it was a thing. That's where your networking comes into play. Make sure you're networking and talking to people. You find out a lot of things when you talk to people. Anyway, I hope you've enjoyed that episode. I thought this was going to be a really short episode, but it's about 30 minutes at least. It's run over, but I hope it's been helpful. Anyway, see you or speak to you in the next episode.
I hope this episode gave you exactly what you needed and motivated you to confidently take steps towards your next career move. If you enjoyed it, screenshot and share it on your socials, tag me on Instagram, and come join my community of amazing women working on leveling up their confidence and career. Thanks for listening, and see you next time.